What's going on, everybody? Back again, back again, But House is Burning, episode 3. And I have a special guest. He's in Missouri, but he's kind of far, just a little bit, just a little bit. He is the founder of Jon Blanco, Mr. Anthony White. What is going on, my brother?
Yo, it's good, man. I'm glad to be here. Honestly, it's been a bit of a trial and tribulation to get us together to do this, but I'm glad we're doing it, man.
Man, for sure. It's been like schedule. It's been
Oh yeah.
scheduling and timing and computer malfunctions and everything. But I'm definitely glad that we're able to do this because this is something special.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Definitely again wearing the t-shirt, Jon Blanco. Make sure to check it out. I'm gonna make sure all links are in the description below. So dope brand, very, in my opinion, motivating and inspiring. Everything that Anthony puts behind the brand, which is awesome. The message behind everything, the time and effort that he puts into every single thing that he does is definitely by far not really comparable to a lot of brands that are in that upstart slash growing phase. And I love every single thing you're doing. So I'm gonna give you your flowers. Listen, you got to give people your flowers while they are here. So I'm gonna give
Uh,
you your flowers first before we go into any conversation. So
and I
I
appreciate it, man.
appreciate you. And you sent me some birthday love. You sent me a birthday care package. A bird like what, bro? What brand does that? So I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
You already know, man. You already know. Yeah, so like Michael said, my name is Anthony White. I started Jon Blanco about 3 years ago, and the goal for me was to create minimally designed apparel with a bigger purpose. So that purpose for us comes down to our motto, which is inspired by the world. It's two things: it's people and it's planet. People's the importance of engaging with others, getting to know people who are different than you, and planet's the importance of taking care of the planet. So a huge aspect to our brand is sustainability. If you want, I can give you kind of like the long story, the background of how
Of
we got
course,
here.
that's why we're here. That's why we are here. I'm here for all of it.
No, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, so I'm actually not originally from St. Louis. I'm from Omaha, Nebraska, originally born and raised there. You know, elementary, middle school, high school, and college. I went to Creighton University up there. I always go back to the story as kind of like a foundational thing for me. So in our neighborhood, I grew up in North Omaha, which, like a lot of big cities, the north side, for whatever reason, is the area where there's a lot of poverty, a lot of crime. We had this basketball court in our neighborhood. It's called Rock Park. Church put it there with the goal of, creating a good, solid foundation for the kids in the neighborhood. But I always go back to this because me and my brother used to go there every day during the summer, multiple times a day sometimes. And we would play with basketball with people from all backgrounds, languages, creeds, religions, whatever. Um, and that really was foundational for me in going and motivating me for ultimately creating a brand that, is so passionate and cares so much about the planet, the world, learning about people who might be different than you. So just a little side note there. But I graduated from Creighton back in 2017, and I ended up moving to St. Louis because I got my first job after college here. Um, so I moved here from Omaha, didn't really know anybody here. After started working, liked my job, but I quickly learned that working in banking and finance is kind of boring sometimes. so about 6 months in, I was kind of going crazy. I was like, I need something creative to do. Throughout most of my life, I had some kind of creative outlet, whether that was, I used to rap back in the day, did some slam poetry, graphic design, drawing, a little bit of everything. So I tried a few different things when I was here and ended up landing on clothes because I had a difficult time myself finding clothing brands that aligned with my own values. So I was looking for something that was, minimally designed, simple, but also like super bold in its mission. Um, so I ended up going down this rabbit hole of like, how can I start a brand with like, $100? So
Yeah.
ended up finding a few options that would let me get started with relatively little capital. And from there started building out the brand name, the mission, the vision, the website, all that good stuff, trying to learn social media. And then, I did that all throughout 2017 and 2018. I like to say I officially launched the brand, or launched the store in 2019, like at the very beginning of the year. So that was awesome, man. Like started to see like the fruits of the labor, like something, you know, project I've been working on for the last year come together. Um, my first sales were online to mainly, you know, family and friends and friends of family. And then, you know, quickly learned like after a couple months that I needed to do something else other than just try to sell online to family and friends. So I say probably about August of 2019, you know, I started doing searches about like, okay, what's, you know, local in St. Louis, like pop-up events, or, you know, what can I do to kind of get in front of people and tell my story? um Ended up finding this farmers market, believe it or not, and I was like, shit, like let's do it. Like I've never seen a clothing brand at a farmers market before, but we're gonna do it, man. So I reached out to them, you know, like they were super supportive and encouraging. Ended up throwing in an application, and then, you know, they invited me out, paid those vendor fees, and started doing these pop-up markets at the farmers market, which we still do this today. And actually shout out to Tower Grove Farmers Market, because man, they helped me get started big time. But ended up doing that throughout the fall. And this was great for me because it gave me the opportunity to hear myself talk and talk to people and kind of explain my story and my message. Showed me where I needed a lot of improvement, you know, helped me see what sold, what didn't sell. So it was an awesome time just to kind of get out there and practice. And then, you know, we did that throughout the fall, throughout the winter. And then, you know, we started doing these winter markets in February and March of 2020. And man, I remember like the last winter market we did was like right before COVID. And, you know, I started hearing these like whispers, you know, people talking in the crowd, and like people talking, like other vendors and people selling their stuff, talking about, oh, you guys hear about this coronavirus in China or whatever. And at the time, man, I didn't think much about it. I was like, okay, it's gonna be no big deal, you know, like
Yeah,
us entrepreneurs and creatives are super optimistic a lot of times, right? So we're just like, okay, let's
exactly.
just
Yeah.
push through. But then like 2 weeks later, St. Louis had its first case, and then everything shut down after that. So we went through like maybe an 8-month period where we didn't do much with the brand. It was definitely tough, you know, because it was like, man, you work so hard to build this thing up. You feel like you have some momentum going, and then all of a sudden it's all over. Um, the market itself, they like opened back up in the summer, but I didn't do any of that because I have asthma and I didn't want to like take a chance, you know, with COVID. So, you know, kind of fast forward to the end of 2020, I kind of made this choice. I was like, okay, I've been reassessing things. I've been working on designs and trying to like think about the brand some. I either need to like push it hard in 2021, or I need to just like find something else to do. You know what I mean? Because you
Yeah,
can't just keep doing something like half-ass.
exactly.
Uh, so yeah, 2021 came around. We're like, okay, let's do this. Started with, again, going with the family and the friends and all that stuff, you know, trying to push product. It's like, I need to get rid of this, guys. I need to sell this. I got to get some new designs out. Um, and then ultimately, you know, like at the beginning of April, the vaccines became available. I got my vaccination. I was like, okay, we're good now. Like, let's do this. It was funny though, because like around the same time, Rennie Knott, who's a news anchor here in St. Louis from KSDK, he reached out to me on Instagram and he was like, hey, we're gonna do this Earth Day special. We saw your clothing brand, thing is super cool. You know, do you want to do an interview? So at this time, man, I was trying to prepare for our first markets, but then I got this interview opportunity, nervous as hell, man. And like I hadn't talked to anybody about the brand in like, you know, more than 12 months. So I was like getting super nervous. Ended up doing the interview was great. And like in a lot of ways that like helped catapult us this year and like give us the motivation and the ambition to like push hard. So that was April. And then, you know, since then, man, we've been doing like, you know, 2 to 3 events every week, pretty much, you know, not taking a lot of time off, but you definitely got to get your time in when you can though, you know, and take those mental breaks.
No, for sure. Yeah, we were talking about that the other day when we were kind
Yeah.
of texting back and forth. Just you do. That's one thing that is very important. Is just these mental days in between. Just because like life can get so overwhelming. It
Yeah.
just seems like everything's just happening all at once. So yeah, you do need those type of days where you're just like, okay, I'm just gonna focus on
Yeah.
me, focus on what I need to be doing, and focus on my growth. And then like
Hmm.
hopefully, if you are surrounding yourself with amazing people that love you and really care for you, they will totally understand
Yeah.
you know let you do what you got to do. So obviously I know how great the brand is. So like what inspires you every day to wake up and be like, I'm gonna try to make this brand great, other than the fact
Yeah.
that it's your baby, we know. But other than that, like what
Yeah.
inspires you? Like are there other brands that inspire you, other creators or
Yeah.
creatives in general that inspire you?
Yeah. No, it's a good question, man. And first and foremost is because it's my baby. But you know, there's a couple things that I think are huge inspirations for me. Um, you know, one thing I think for me is just like the ability to have an impact. So, you know, like in my job, I actually just quit, and I'm going back to school full time right now too, but I quit my job a few weeks ago, and it's like one of those things you look back and like once you step away from the job, you can see it even more clear. But it's like, man, when you're not having an impact in the world, like it sucks, you know, like if what you want to do is help people, man, the 9 to 5 like job just it drags.
Yeah.
um so like for me, like getting up every day and knowing that I'm running a business or a small business that you know, one of our key like components or things that's integral to the brand is like helping people, which is like where our motto comes from, inspired by the world. So like when you think about, you know, us telling our story to people, saying, okay, like part of our motto is about, you know, the people aspect, which is engaging with others, finding people who you may not agree with, and like being able to have a respectful conversation, understanding like why people are the way they are. Like I think that's huge. Like I've always lived by this motto, which, you know, personal motto of mine, which is everybody has a story, you just got to take time to listen. You know what I mean? Like what is it that makes somebody the way they are, I think the way they do today? Like so like being able to push that. And then also for us, like just the sustainability of the brand like is huge. So when you think about sustainability, you know, think about social and environmental sustainability. So like all of our clothes, the way they're manufactured, it's in a way that's socially sustainable, which means, you know, the standards in the factories are high. There's no sweatshops. And then environmentally, like the way that the clothes are dyed and put together is actually better for the environment than the majority of other clothing brands you see out there. Um, so like that's just a huge inspiration, like being able to tell that story and like serve as an example to other small businesses and also to potential customers and people who are, you know, on the demand side of the equation, you know, telling them, hey, you guys don't have to settle for, you know, any old brand or like your mainstream brands. Like there are small businesses, local businesses that are doing really dope shit, and they're doing it in a way that's sustainable.
Exactly.
um and I would say like, you know, other than that, there are like some local brands here in St. Louis that, you know, definitely inspire me. And like just creatives in general, you know, like seeing the grind that people put in every day is incredible for me, like to see. So like one brand here that I love, it's called Emblue,
Okay.
Embleu. The guy does like all cut and sewn, like super high quality stuff. Like his name's Tremaine. Guy, I've known him for like three. Literally, he came and found me at one of the farmers market when I first started.
Mhm.
So that's how I started knowing this guy. So like super inspirational though, like what he does. Um, and then just like other creatives, like, you know, your videographers, your photographers in the city, like everybody who's doing something creative and puts that on Instagram, you can see that and you can get inspired from it, man. Like whether it's just like the way they're shooting something, the way they're thinking about something. Um, even, you know, the guy you had on last week, Soriano, like that's
Yeah.
super dope. Like I was
Yeah.
listening to
And
that
it's
today. I was like,
crazy.
man,
And listen, and you know what the
yeah,
crazy part is, bro? He's only like 16, 17.
it's crazy, man.
So just think about that. But that's what I kept telling him. I
Yeah,
was like, bro, your
yeah,
mindset's insane for your
yep,
age. You're
yep,
way above your years, and you have this drive and this motivation. You can hear not
yeah,
necessarily an anger, but it's a passion.
yeah,
And it's like, whoa, as if I was doing that at 16, 17, who knows where, where
yeah,
any of us could be. So
yeah. He has the it factor, and like the thing is too, like I was I had a lot of different things I wanted to do when I was 16, right? I wasn't so focused, like that kid, like yeah, he's hyper focused on what he's doing. You know
yeah.
what I mean? So that's what I'm trying to be like that now, and like be hyper focused on this, because like ultimately that's going to be one of the key drivers to success. Like you got to put it all in, you got to put your 110 every day, you know. um and that's why you do it, because you love it, you know.
Sure, for sure. So obviously, everything that, in my opinion, everything that you've touched, everything that I've seen has just grown into something so amazing, and the great stories behind it, what you're really doing. So what is your purpose other than helping people? Like, what are your goals that you're setting
Yeah,
for? And like you said, you was gonna go hard 2021. You're going
yep,
hard. You're doing exactly what you want to do. So,
yep,
like, what is the goal for finishing off? Like, I was just talking about the other day with a friend of mine. Is starting Monday. which is going to be what's today, the 15th.
Uh-huh.
So starting Monday, there's 75 days until the end of the year, which is
Oh
insane to
wow.
think about. It's
Yeah.
insane. So that's my mental clock. That's my mental clock right now. 75 days until 2022. So what
Okay.
are you going to do, let's say, in these next 78 days to make sure that Jon Blanco is as successful, as impactful? Like, what are you doing to make sure that's happening?
Man, that's a great question. Put me on the spot here. No, yeah, so let me give you like the 12-month vision and then let's work back.
Of course.
So in 12 months, what are we, October right now? So 12 months, I want to have a storefront. Like that's hands down, that's my goal in 12 months. I want a place that people can come experience the brand. Like, I don't want this to be just like you come and shop. No, I want it to be an experience. So, think about what kind of events we could have, how we can truly live out our vision of bringing people together through clothing, kind of living out that inspired by the world motto where it's not just talk out of market, right? It's like, no, let's like actually bring people together. So I mean, there's a lot of ideas running through my head. There was one really dope thing I saw a month or two ago where I don't know, it was somewhere in Scandinavia, but they did like a human library is what they called it, something like that, where people could go in and they could meet with somebody who's experienced some specific thing in their life. So it's like, oh, hi, my name is, Ken. I've been homeless the last 20 years. Let me talk to you and understand, your story. Like some kind of events like that where I can start to bring people together, and especially in a city like St. Louis, where I mean, Kansas City segregated, Omaha segregated, but man, St. Louis is really, really segregated.
Yeah.
And like the history of St. Louis is incredible. Like just not only from like a historical like incredible like things, but like racist past. Like it's hands down like one of the craziest, some of the craziest stuff I've ever heard. So like how do you begin to heal a community with something as simple as bringing people together, and serving as a conduit for change in that way? Let's see, before that, other things I want to do, let's say in 8 months, is I'm looking at doing all of our manufacturing domestically. So, this is one of the key things. Another way that we want to live out the sustainability is like, okay, how can we begin to support domestic jobs? How can we begin to, be able to go to the factories ourselves and see what's actually going down, walk in a factory and like meet the people who are making the clothes. Like that's hands down one of the things I want to do. It's definitely going to take, time and a little more money, but I think like hands down, it's going to be worth it. I would say, let's say, 6 months out, maybe 3 to 6 months out, I want to have a new partner, for our impact in St. Louis. So right now we support an organization called One Tree Planted. And essentially they're a 501c3 based out of Vermont. So with every order, we plant a tree. So year to date, we've planted 338 trees.
Wow.
So it's just like a cool thing to like add to the brand. But one of the things, again, kind of going back to what I was just talking about with manufacturing, is like, how can I have more of a local impact? So I've been doing some like volunteer work with this urban farm called Urban Harvest STL. And like, I've been amazed. I've been doing it for the last couple of weeks. And it's like these people are farming in ways that are sustainable, like techniques and everything going back to Native Americans and African communities. They are donating all the food that they produce, and like they're producing thousands of pounds of food every year, which is like hard to believe. And like these are going to communities who need it most. So it's like, how could I partner with an organization like that to even increase their impact here in St. Louis? So the next 75 days,
Next 75
man,
days.
I'm thinking too long term. So there's a couple things that I have in my mind right now. So we have maybe 20 more pop-up events, maybe more. So of course, knock all those out. Build our customer base, increase our Instagram followers. Like I'd love to end the year at 1,500, but I'd love 2,000 even more.
Yeah, for sure.
And
for sure.
really just go strong into 2022 with a clear vision, and steps to hit those goals that I just talked about. And then probably the last thing really is to drop a new design before the end of the year. Um, one of the things with being a sustainable brand is we don't like to drop too much stuff, right? We're trying to keep with, what works and like building off of that. But I think it's going to be time for a new design, by let's say December.
Gotcha. So so that design I got, is that maybe sort
Say
of
that again.
that design I got that
Oh,
oh
that one's on the list. Man, I got it's crazy, man. Like you start to like when you get in, I'm sure you can relate to this, but like when you get in the zone, you start doing something, you don't even realize how much time passes, but like man, you're super
man.
creative and productive. I got like hundreds of designs, man.
All right, cool. So I
just
got
gotta
okay, so I
drop.
got one of the
You
exclusive
got
ones.
you
Okay.
got an exclusive one,
Okay,
man.
okay, I'm happy then. I'm happy then. So
You got an exclusive.
I'm happy. I'm happy with that. I can't complain. So like it's just insane. I think one thing that I look at and I think a thing that really maybe at sometimes gets overlooked is being bigger than the brand
Yep.
and the person behind it. I for me, obviously having a podcast, it's my face, my name, all this. But with you, it's like Jon Blanco, but Anthony White.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think for me, I want to like delve deeper into like who you are.
Okay.
And I think that's the biggest thing that we'll be able to have people connect is
Yeah.
connecting
Yeah.
with you.
Yep.
So like what was it like growing up? Obviously you kind of talked
Yeah.
about it growing up in Omaha, but like did you play
Yeah.
sports? Like give me a little more.
Yeah, man. It's the growing up was crazy. Like
Okay.
it's weird looking back sometimes, but yeah, so like I said, we grew up in North Omaha, so a lot of crime in our area, a lot of gangs. You had that constant influence. Um, my when I was 9, actually, my dad ended up leaving the house. He had a problem with drugs, so I had a single mother for a number of years, which honestly has helped build me to who I am today. Like since day one, her she would tell us school's the key to get out, right?
Yeah.
So like having that strong influence in my life as a single mother, like that was incredible. So I think that like is super formative for me. um as I kind of talked about earlier with like basketball, like that was our sport. We didn't play it like in school, but we played it outside all the time. And I
Yeah.
mean all the time, man. Like there were days where we'd start at like 9 a.m. in the morning, go home for lunch, go back in the afternoon, come back for dinner, and then do it again after dinner until it was dark. And sometimes we were playing past like till like 10 or 11 o'clock at night.
Exactly.
Like that was our thing. So like that discipline and that love of basketball has always stuck with me. And then like those experiences that were associated with that were huge. um Beyond that, man, the friends I made growing up, like I would like this is one of the reasons I love living in St. Louis City. Is super diverse. Whenever I have kids, I want them to grow up in a similar type of environment where they have
Sure.
the range of friends that I had. Because like some of my best friends were from Sudan, who had moved there as immigrants, refugees, essentially because of the civil war. I had friends from Thailand who were going through a similar type of struggle. um, Friends who are Black, Latino, Arab, like everything, man. And that's been like key to me my whole life. um, the great thing about Jon Blanco is I like to say it's an extension of myself. So my middle name is John, actually. My last name is White, but in Spanish is Blanco. So having the amount
Mm,
of Latino friends I had growing up, they started giving me this nickname of Blanco, just calling me by my last name or calling me Blanco because I was lighter skinned. So since then I was Blanco to a lot of people, man. And even throughout college, and then even after I graduated, like friends just naturally call me Blanco for whatever reason. um so that's been like another key thing. And when I tell people out there, it's like, dude, at the end of the day, like Jon Blanco, man, that's my life, that's what I care about, like that, those are my values right there, like that's all me.
exactly.
So I think that's what makes it so much easier for people to connect with me, because it's like what you see is what you get. You know what I mean? Like the brand, there's nothing fake about it. Like it's 100% genuine, authentic. Um, and I think that's going to be key also going forward, is making sure that we stick to that, right? Like I can't just like do something different now. Like, no, like this is it, man. Like
Yeah,
this is
no,
it.
I
And
get it. Yeah,
we're
for
gonna
sure.
build on it. But yeah, I think those are like a key things growing up, that really had an impact on me.
Okay, okay. I'm glad. Now it makes sense. I had to get that out of here. I was like, where John Blanco? John Blanco. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
that yeah, I love that. I love that. So what goes with some quick fire questions.
Okay.
A little, keep you on your toes. So if you could collab with any sport to design their jerseys,
Yeah.
what sport, what team, and why?
Yeah. This is great, man. I'm gonna go with soccer. I'm gonna go with the new team here in St. Louis. I think they're just
Okay.
called the St. Louis SC right now.
Okay.
So we don't have a true team yet. It's coming in 2023, but they're building the stadium downtown. So if I had a collaboration, it would be with them, and it would be St. Louis, and we would be repping hard.
I bet. I bet.
And
See,
but soccer is global, man. That's what I love about it. Like it's so global. You know what I mean? Did you play soccer? Thought
I
you played
so
some
I
sports, right?
I did. I played college soccer. So I
Okay.
understand. I've been playing soccer since I was 4 until
Yeah.
2 years ago when I graduated from college. So I get it. And I mean, listen, even the t-shirt you have on now, if you would
Yeah.
have did a jersey, I can listen, we'll make that happen. So when KC plays St. Louis, you know, one of my boys plays for Sporting. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, so I'm gonna show some love, but you know what side I'm gonna be on. We can sit at the game together and hang out, but
That's
you
fair, man.
know,
That's fair.
but yeah, but no, that's great. So what okay, so for me, I've only been to St. Louis twice, and the
Okay.
only times I went was because I was on like a flight to get to KC. So it's kind of like a layover.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm coming to KC to come see you. We're coming to come kick it. Where am I eating at? Where am I
Okay.
going to see stuff? Like
All
break it
right.
down for
All right. Yeah. So first of all, man, I've been to Kansas City a lot. So my wife, well now wife, but she lived there a couple years, 3, 4 years. So when I was in college, still I used to drive to Kansas City because she was older than me. And then when I moved to St. Louis, like we still had to drive back and forth for a year. St. Louis barbecue is better than Kansas City barbecue. First of
here
all,
we see.
hands
Listen,
down.
hold on. You trying to get me in trouble. You trying to get me canceled in Kansas City. But I'll let you rock. But go ahead. You trying to get me canceled. But I'll listen to what you got to say.
I just had to push that one, man, because I mean I tried the Kansas City, but I've been to most of the places over there. Um, Big Jack Stack, Joe's fan. I'm a big fan of Q39. But here in St. Louis, man, we got a couple places like barbecue wise. You got to go to Pappy's is one downtown. Salt and Smoke, Sugar Fire. Those are the big three for me in St. Louis barbecue. But if you're talking about general food, it really depends on what you like to eat, man. Like what's your thing?
So I'm a big Chinese guy.
Okay.
I like authentic good Chinese.
Okay.
And I'm a big wing guy. I love wings. I can eat
Okay.
wings every day for the rest of my life and be content. I
I,
promise.
f- I feel you. Yeah. So Chinese, we actually have I'd call it a little Chinatown in St. Louis.
Okay.
So we have this one street that has probably 15 to 20 Chinese restaurants.
Oh wow.
There's one that I really like called Lulu's, and it's like a dim sum Chinese place.
Okay.
Place is fire, man, like incredible food. Um, Wings, we have a new place called Kimchi Guys, which is like Korean fried chicken.
Ooh,
Shit's incredible, man.
that was
Um,
fire. Got me
and then
hungry now.
we got a few other places here that are like my personal favorites. So we got a spot in one of the more historic neighborhoods here called Mayo Ketchup, and they serve Puerto Rican and Dominican food. So my wife is Dominican. We have a lot of Puerto Rican Dominican friends, and like their food is hands down the best like Dominican Puerto Rican stuff you can
Oh
get
my
in
gosh,
St.
by
Louis.
far, by far.
Um, and then there's another one that just opened, Cuban spot called Havana's Cuisine. Man, love the food, incredible food, great prices. That's downtown. But it's great because like we know the owners now because man, we've been supporting them like Havana's and the other one I mentioned, Mayo Ketchup, for like the last 3 years. Like they started in food trucks or like little pop-up type things too. So
Yeah.
it's great, man. Yeah, it's good food. And then did you say you wanted a drink too when you're here?
Yeah, yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
Come on, come on now. Come on. Of course, you gonna drink a little bit. Where are you taking me?
All right. So it depends on what kind of night you're trying to have, man.
All right. So let's say I'm trying to have a little night on the edge, but then the
Yeah.
other night I'm trying to, just chill and
Just
enjoy
chill.
the vibe.
Okay. So you want a wild night, you want a chill night. I got you.
Exactly.
So you like Westport and Kansas City? Yeah.
That's
Okay.
that's the home destination for most of the times
Okay.
I go out. So
So
yeah.
we got a spot here, a neighborhood called Soulard, St. Louis. It's called Soulard. It's the one of the oldest neighborhoods in St. Louis. Incredibly beautiful homes, like row house type homes. But man, that's where like our Mardi Gras takes place. So we have the second largest Mardi Gras after New Orleans. So Mardi Gras happens here. There's like 20, at least 20 bars, mainly college bars, but like college age to like that 25 age.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of like just young professionals there. So that place is popping. Like most of those bars there are popping every night. So you probably want to start out there or another neighborhood called the Grove. In the Grove, lots of great bars, but they have this one bar called Open Concept.
Okay.
And the idea behind it, it's all you can drink for an hourly rate. So it's like, if you want bottom shelf, it's $10 an hour. If you want top shelf, it's like $20 an hour. and that's all you, man. Like that's it. And you can get, get your night started there. And then if you want to close it down, maybe head over to downtown. You got a couple options down there. Yeah, Ballpark Village, which is right next to the Cardinals Stadium, super lit there. And then you got a couple other bars, one called Wheelhouse, one called Tin Roof, that are like classic St. Louis. Like if you're trying to, if you're lit already, let's just say if you're lit, right. This is where you go.
Probably at that point. At this point, probably yeah.
Yeah, they got the DJ and everything. If you're trying to have a chill night, there's a couple spots. Definitely Sasha's Wine Bar. So Sasha's Wine Bar, their thing is wine, but man, they got like a great selection of not only wine but beer. And then they got these things called Sasha shots, which we can keep it chill still, but it's like a little coffee shot with like some alcohol in there. That stuff's incredible.
Okay.
There's some good vibes in a neighborhood called Central West End. So this neighborhood is mainly like, sit down drinking spots. There's a cool spot called Brennan's, which is also a cigar lounge. And then if you want to do a little like salsa dancing or something, right next door is Club Viva,
Okay. I'm with it. I'm with it. I trust me. I'm Jamaican. I can move.
There we go. There we go.
I can move. All right. I'm definitely gonna make that trip. I've been wanting to, so I'm definitely gonna come down there. Man. We're definitely gonna have to link up.
Just let me know.
Oh, I will. Trust me. So, I think the perfect way to end this off, and I think you will have a lot of wisdom with this.
Okay.
Is when someone asks you, what do I have to do to become a creative or become obviously founder of a clothing line or become a photographer, become an artist? Yeah. Like, what advice do you give to that person?
Yeah, that's a tough one, man, because it's going to depend on the person too, right? So ultimately, the way I look at things, and not all creatives are the same also. I find it very important to have like conviction behind whatever you want to do. So, for me, clothing, I had a reason that I wanted to do clothing, and that's what's going to sustain me, and keep me motivated. So first, I guess I would say, find your true conviction behind whatever you want to do, because it's not easy. There are going to be a lot of times where you want to quit, where you feel like quitting, where people don't give you props or don't encourage you. And at the end of the day, like, you need to have something, kind of holding you down, keeping you steady, keeping you grounded. On the flip side of that, if you do really well, and people start giving you a lot of props, they start encouraging you a lot, you start seeing a lot of success. If you don't have that thing, that original conviction that is keeping you grounded, you're gonna start acting crazy. You're gonna start going the other extreme and being arrogant or whatever. So I think like finding a way, and it's tough when you're creative, because a lot of times, at least for me, like I have multiple things going on in my mind at the same time. But finding something to keep you steady and like keep you balanced, I think that's key, man. And then the other thing is, just you got to give it your all. Like that's going to be the advice you hear everybody talk about. But it's like the person who can keep going when things get hardest is the person who's going to win at the end of the day. You know what I mean? That's the person who's going to be successful. That's going to be the person that is going to be able to do their art. So like those are the two things for me, is staying grounded and you know, when shit hits the fan, keep going.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that's exactly what it is. I felt that, like I said, with me, kind of like my story is kind of similar to yours as far as you know, having my dad around but not really being around and
Yeah.
all that, and then having the time where, like I said, I was kind of figuring things out on my own. And then that point of me having a previous podcast, kind of like how you said you
Yeah.
were going hard, and then I
Yeah.
just took, it was a 6 month break where it was just like there was nothing. Like I didn't post on Instagram.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, "Are you okay? What's going on?" So I totally get that, and I back everything you say as far as to be inspired and to make sure that at the end of the day you do have a purpose. Everyone has a purpose within life, and it's your job to find what that purpose is.
Yep.
And some people's purpose is to inspire, is to sometimes light fires under people, and
Yeah.
it's just depending on you finding what your kind of road is, and then being able to be like, hey, I'm going to stick to this no matter what.
Yeah.
So I'm totally with that. Yeah, you hit it on a nail.
Man, I
um
appreciate that. But I mean, you're like you said, you're a living example of it too. You know what I mean? Like that's the key thing. It's like, you know, shit gets tough sometimes and you got to take that mental break, and that's perfectly fine. Like let's add that to the wisdom too, because man,
yeah,
like mental health is huge, you know, and like it's so easy these days to get burnt out. It's so easy to become disconnected and disassociated with what you're doing. So you know, being able to say it's okay to take a step back, like that's incredible. That's important.
yeah, especially among men. And that's just being raised with around masculinity and saying, hey, you have to be tough and don't cry and
Right.
don't be emotional. Like, no, you need
Yeah.
to relieve that stress and be able to have people or someone to be able to just, you know, kind of decompress. Because like it's the
Yeah.
same thing as a balloon. If you start to keep putting air into a balloon, it's eventually gonna pop.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure, man. Like that's super important. Like you gotta find way to keep balance, you know, in your life. Even when, you know, things are going one way or the other, it's like, okay, how can we take a step back here and you know, take a breath and find ways to clear your mind, or you know what I mean, like just get back to it. Um, but you know, the other big thing too is like if you're not working with a clear mind, like it's gonna show, right? It's gonna
Yeah,
show in your art, it's gonna show in your creativity. Like you're not gonna be as creative, your quality is gonna suffer. You know, your communication is not gonna be as good. So, you know, it's super important just to keep that, you know, top of mind. It's like gotta be mentally right to make it work.
for sure, for sure. So again, thank you so much. This conversation was amazing. Way better. I mean, I knew we were going to be great, but just what we were able to talk about was amazing to hear your story. And I want people to know, like this is him. Like this is the real, genuine Anthony White, aka Jon Blanco. Like this is it. Like this is why you should begin to look out for the brand and invest your hard-earned dollars, because he is working his ass off to produce product that you're able to wear around and feel proud of. So
Absolutely.
definitely make sure to check out the brand. What else do you want to plug, bro? What else? Like what else you got going on? Plug it
Yeah.
all. Plug it all.
Man, I don't like plugging things too much, you know, like I try to keep it low, down low, low key. Yeah, so we got a couple you know, I would say the key thing, like if you guys want to come find us, we got our schedule on our website. So our website's www.jonblanco.com. The other way to stay on top of things is to hit me up on Instagram, Jon Blanco Official. Other than that, man, if anybody ever has questions, concerns, whatever, like just reach out to me, hit me up on Instagram. My email is anthony@jonblanco.com. Yeah, seriously, open book here. So whatever you need, just let me know. If you're trying to start a brand, reach out.
For sure, for sure. Yes, please reach out. This man is full of wisdom and willing to help. And you never know what there might be a collaboration from it. Just reach out because again,
Yeah.
willing to help, full of wisdom, and just dope ass dude. So again, definitely Mr. Anthony White burned down the house, and I'm appreciative to have you as a colleague, as a collaborator, just as a friend. So I appreciate you
Appreciate you,
so
man.
much. And again, guys, check it out. Jon Blanco, Jon Blanco, everything. So this is Michael Porter. I'm checking out. See y'all soon.
Appreciate you guys.